Welcome to the Gump Report. And about Ember Moon. I've seen the Chris Van Vliet video twice because it was very interesting to see how she was acting. She looks great. She was happy. She looked healthy. But then when you hear the story this woman said, woo, this is the reason why WWE is screwed up. Guys, Ember Moon, whether you like her or not, I saw it first on Reality of Wrestling, in 2015 or 16. That was the first time I saw her in Booker T's promotion. Well, developmental promotion. That's when I first saw her, and I thought there was something special about her when she was Athena. I knew there was something different about her. Eventually went to NXT. She lit it up very well, not just because she was a great wrestler, but you could see that she had character. She wasn't one of the most greatest people on the mic, but she had a certain character. Yeah, she wasn't great on the mic, but she could do a pretty good, decent job. And she did have a level of charisma people liked. I thought she had something. And then the minute she went to the roster, nothing. She had to go back down to NXT. And then when she was with Chelsea, guess what? They actually become tag champs. And guess what? They took Chelsea from her. And she was done. She said, don't. And this was in the interview. When that situation happened with Chelsea, she said, I'm done. Triple H is gone. Chelsea is gone. And you got nothing for me? I don't want to be a trainer because it said, don't worry, we got something for you. Start training people. She didn't want to train. She said, don't book me any more hotels. Don't book me any flights. I'm going home, and unless you got me something to do, I'm not coming back until then. And then they eventually let her go. And she knew. She quit because she made it very clear in that interview that she quit and that she knew she was done. She even said it during that interview that when this was building up to that moment, she actually got herself an extra carry-all to put all her junk in. Because just like with Mickie James, it's always wrestlers who keep stuff in WWE's own materials. Because as you know, when they travel from one place to another with all their tractor trailers, there's a section set aside for the wrestlers for their stuff. So once the locker rooms are set up, they can always have their stuff ready right there when they get it all set up. So she said, I knew something was going on, and not in those very words. I made sure I got all my shit together. She didn't say that, but that's what I'm saying. This is a prime example how bad WWE is. Guys, do you want to know how a promotion's supposed to work? This is how one works. This is how I understand it. A real promotion who has a developmental, usually if it's a big promotion, a strong one, they have like another promotion, a small minor one, they do an arrangement with saying, look, we'll pay you a certain amount. Or we'll take, when your wrestlers reach a certain point, tell us when they're ready, we'll pick them up, we'll take them. And we'll try and compensate you by bringing in more people to help you. That's how some promotions do, not all, but some. So, when these promotions are done, working with these developmental promotions or smaller promotions that they're considered a developmental, they'll build their people up to a certain point where they know they're ready. They'll contact the promotion they do work with, where sometimes they get paid to do this. Sometimes it's just references so they can get new talent in so they can do whatever shows they can do, not only for the minor promotion that's acting like a developmental and can make money, but they communicate back and forth so they make sure everything works correctly. OVW used to work for WWE, and yeah, a lot of times OVW used to get screwed by WWE. Even though they had arrangements and they even got paid to a certain extent, they used to get screwed a lot. But the point is, in this situation with WWE dealing with an Ember Moon and anyone else that came up on the roster, they literally had no communication. Zero. And it's mainly due to Vince and his mentality, where there used to be promotions that worked with him. It could have been FCW at one point, OVW in another, and there was another one next to that one, I think another Mid-Atlantic, I can't remember what it was, something similar to Mid-Atlantic or Georgia, not the actual promotion, but something in those vicinities where they helped to build people, because there was a lot of promotions in Georgia, a lot of promotions in Louisiana and other places that WWE did go to. At least from what I understand. I could be wrong, but that's what I know. But in this situation, with Ember Moon, you're dealing with in-house promotions of Raw, SmackDown, and then their developmental promotion, NXT. Raw basically is like a roster in itself, its own promotion. SmackDown, in a sense, is like its own promotion because it's got its own writers, its own lighting, its own teams, its own editing, all of that. And NXT is the same way. How in the blue fuck would you have a promotion that has 3 different segments of itself and not set up a system that is a go-between between each to make sure you know what's going on? Now, Vince works on SmackDown and Raw. Easy, at least now. He was mainly working for Raw only and let SmackDown do what like 2015, 16, and 17 was mainly the writers by themselves, Road Dogg. And that was its own promotion, where a lot of people thought that SmackDown was number 1 and Raw was nothing, and NXT was still building up to become number 1, as many people think. Here, you got NXT before Triple H was done. With no connection, it was detached. So basically, Vince had in his possession, in his own buildings, a developmental promotion that he didn't check up on, with some people to check up on it, or wanted to check up on it because there's a lot of animosity from what we know, and refused to make sure that when he brought someone up, male or female, to make sure that they didn't screw up what was going on there, and made sure that when the person brought up, to see if whatever they developed there could be useful. Because when a person who owns a promotion works with a minor promotion as a developmental, they find out a legitimate promotion that has brains. WWE does not. But other promotions, they would make sure to find out what character that person had, and they bring it over to their promotion to see if it might work. Because sometimes, if they've already gotten recognition, they were already well known, it's better to leave them as they are, because then you just build on top of it. No, Vince refuses to do that. He makes them wipe them clean and start them over, which screws up everything. Think about it for a minute. In OVW, for Batista, the Animal, before he was known as Batista, the Animal, he was known as Leviathan, a dominant monster. Now, mind you, I'm not saying Leviathan would have gotten over on SmackDown at all, but they never even gave it a chance. Just like with NXT, they never gave any of those people a chance to really get over except for one person. No, 2. That is Charlotte Flair first, Roman Reigns second. Well, actually, I should say, around the same time, Roman Reigns and Charlotte Flair. The only reason they didn't mess with it was because Charlotte Flair is a Flair, and Joe Anoa'i is basically a Peter Maivia relative, a descendant of his bloodline. So that's the reason why they were barely even tampered with, and they were built on top of. And that's the reason why Roman Reigns was disgusting and disgusted to a lot of fans, and Charlotte Flair is still disgusting to a lot of fans, because we know she screwed over a whole bunch of people, that she won't work with other people. Now she has such a bad attitude. She had a confrontation with 2 people. One, Nia Jax, before she left, and I'm not even a Nia Jax corner, but whatever attitude she had with Nia Jax, and whatever attitude Nia Jax she had, they played it out on TV, making them look like idiots. And then what happened with Becky Lynch, and that attitude she had with Becky, where Charlotte didn't want to play ball because Charlotte thinks she's better than everybody. This shows you how messed up everything was. And when you see the interview, that pretty much seeing Ember cry, in other words, Athena cry, hurt me. I didn't want to see Athena cry, explaining how hurt she was because she was so tired, because she was getting nowhere. She was miserable. That upsets me. to see someone like that. And I know people are going to say, well, that's what she gets. Well, remember, that wasn't what she got. Because when she was signed to NXT, she was promised several things. And particularly when she went to the roster and was sent back to NXT and was promised that with Triple H in the corner, things would be different. Once Triple H had his heart problem and had to get surgery for it, this is what you get. And I'm like, it sucked. And I'm so glad she did the right thing. And she said it herself. What would be the point of me re-signing? Because she said it herself. They were not just willing to pay her to stay, the regular amount she had. She said it herself. They were ready to pay her 5 times what she was offered originally when she first started in NXT and onto the main roster, where they probably increased it. Maybe she got from $50,000 to $60,000. Understand, in NXT they go to $50,000 to $75,000, I think. When you make them, when you make the main roster, you go maybe to $150,000 to $300,000 or $400,000, and they're ready to pay her 5 times whatever she had made on the main roster. She might have only got maybe $150,000 to $200,000. If they were offering her 5 times and she made $250,000 or $200,000 a year, she could have gotten $1.1 million, $1.3 million. Think about that. They didn't want her to leave. So she got sick of it. She says, money's not worth it. I was miserable. So sometimes it's worth staying. And I'm not against someone staying in WWE if they're willing to take how screwed up the situation is. If they see it in front of them, they know how bad things are. And they know they're not going to be booked right. And maybe most of the time they'll job, or most of the time will be in catering. If they made the conscious decision knowing that, hey, I want to make this money. This is better for me than doing what's on indie or going to AEW, Impact, or MLW, or when it comes to NWA. If I want to retire with WWE and this will give me a light schedule where I don't have to hurt myself, that's what I'm going to do. And I understand that. I understand there's some people that want to retire in WWE because it's a dream, or they think it'll be easier for them because they won't have so much wear and tear because they won't be used as much, but they're still getting paid. That's what they want. More power to them. But for wrestlers, female and male, deciding they want more, but they're not getting it, and when they realize they're still not going to get it after seeing other wrestlers that were from Raw, SmackDown, NXT just be treated like dirt and get the axe, because you can't tell me they don't know. Guys, the wrestlers communicate with each other. They still talk with each other in NXT to WWE's Raw and SmackDown. They're in the same thing. They talk to each other. You don't think they don't. They do. They know what's going on. And they've been mad about what's been going on for the last couple of years, where Cameo has been stopped. They couldn't do Twitch anymore. They only can get their default baseline of their contracts, no more extra money. And if they try to do anything on YouTube or anything, WWE wants a cut of it when they never used to do it. These wrestlers are not happy. But many of them, if their contracts are up and they know this is bad, and they re-sign anyway, thinking maybe they'll get it better this time because they may get a better position because they see the company having problems. They're stupid. Stupid. Knowing full well how bad the company is, and they go back. That's the reason why people say that's what they get. If they choose to stay because they want the money and they know this will be better for their quality of life, don't hate them for that. There's a lot of wrestlers that have multiple injuries that in some cases, they could become paralyzed if they work too hard. Some of them have injuries that will never heal, 100%. Like ACL injuries, shoulders injuries. There's some that can never get their shoulders right again. Look at Big E before he broke his neck. He said he couldn't raise his arm like this. He can't raise his arm beyond this. I can do this, I'm lucky. I can do this, I'm lucky. Big E said he can't raise his arm beyond here. And I think that was his left or right arm. I can't remember which one. He can't do that because he needs shoulder surgery, which probably he's got too much scar tissue in there, and it may not ever be normal. Yes, you can clean it out, but it doesn't mean it'll stay like that, because in some cases it'll go from finally getting it back to getting it again. Some people will never do it. So there's some people that are willing to accept losing the ability to have spontaneity, to be able to have the wrestling matches they want, even when they pitch them, to be able to have a quality of life for themselves and their families. I understand that. But when those who clearly, they want more, they want it so bad, they want to wrestle more, they want their characters to be something different, they want to be able to go and do certain things, and they know the company's treating people bad, and they actually think they're going to get better when everybody else around them who tried what they're doing fucks up on them. They do deserve what they get because they know 100% it didn't work. But it's just me. And look at the Chris Van Vliet video of Athena. It was a good understanding of how she loves wrestling, how Vince tried to get her in some poom poom shorts, and she says, no, I'm not only a nerd, I'm catered to kids, I'm not showing my ass or any of my titties. No, I don't like that. And that many women have now been told by Vince, and this is in the video, that he wants women to work and be more sexy like Mandy Rose. And as she said herself, Mandy's an amazing person. She's beautiful, she's amazing, but not everyone is like Mandy. And they want everyone to be like Mandy now. So this is what's going on with WWE. If you actually believe WWE is getting better, it's going to get worse. You know what I believe? This is what I believe. Eventually, the butterfly belt will eventually return. The women's title that is currently available, I do believe Vince will eventually retire it and go back to the butterfly belt. I do believe that. The way they're doing the matches now, I truly believe Vince is going to go back to a more sexier system where he believes it's going to bring back men and women that's going to watch the product again. He do believe it. And I do believe eventually it's going to go back to that, or at least as close as possible with the way cancel culture is and the way social media works. He's going to go back as far as he can to get as close as he can where women's going to be showing tits, ass, panties, bras, and whatever he can get away with. But that's just me, and I hope you enjoyed this Gump report. Please give me a comment below. I've exercised my demon. I'll probably upload this Monday or Tuesday. Maybe Monday or Tuesday. I might talk about it on one of the other videos before I release it. Peace.